My daughter. It's like that's the greatest achievement.
Yeah.
You know, in this lifespan. Man, you know, New Yorican poet. I feel like that was important. You know, I think we would once see how important those poets that came from those stages, like E.O. Dub, New Yorican, Bowery Poetry Club. We gave the voice of the city, like, you know, we gave the city a voice. We gave those people an opportunity to speak during 9/11, during trauma, you know, happening in New York City. There was a lot of poets that gained confidence. You know, I taught a lot too. I mentored poetry throughout my years, so I saw how I even taught or helped, you know, some businessmen and women be better at their craft and speaking and in public speaking and being able to fall in love with words. Some people get real shy. Some people get, you know, they want to say something and they find themselves repeating themselves or things like that. So, you know, creative writing has always been a part of me, you know.
My man flipped the switch real quick on
it.
Yeah. So you thought I had these shades on for nothing? I'm about to get real quiet on you.
Praise God.
But EO Dub alumni.
Yeah, man. EO Dub, shout out, rest in peace, Vice Versus.
Yeah, rest in peace, Vice Versus, rest in peace, J Arch.
Yeah, rest in peace, PH.
Or PH, rest in peace.
Majesty. I'll drop some.
Yeah. Make sure that shit
put it in your pocket.
Yeah, I'm sure this will make some kind of compilation of when the guy comes from the other side of Mass.
Guest appearance, KK-47, in case you didn't know who that was.
Yeah, I'm a part of that. Yeah, man. It was a special place, and that's where we met. And just years ago, young MCs, they sign up to spit their thing, and for 3 minutes you felt like Hov. You know what I'm saying? You had MCs that hosts that knew how to do ad libs so well that they could catch your ad libs and they never heard the song.
Facts.
Facts. And it was really good, and especially if you did the hook the second time and they amped
and they the facts. Yo, I had a joint called Super Math, and I remember Vice just leaping across the stage in the background. They loved that joint. Yeah. Every time I did that, they used to just get mad hype for me.
Now, if for some of you that don't know, we're talking about EO Dub, end of the week. There was every Sunday there was an open mic for New York City.
It was the longest running
open mic. And the only reason why it ended, well not ended, but the only reason why it halted was because of COVID. Yeah. So, but there was 3 men by the name of Zoo, Big Zoo, Propane, and Vice Versus. And those 3 men birthed something great in New York City and then took it all over the world. So I'm talking about the EO Dub has a chapter in Australia, France. New Zealand, France, Africa. There's so many places. And before he died, he wanted me to make a chapter in California because I live there now. And but he passed away, sadly. And we're gonna still do a lot of things, great things for him.
Definitely. But I feel like that's missing.
Yeah, man.
We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, it's funny how when people nowadays, they get into rap and they do a couple of records and then they feel like they're already in the league.
Yeah.
They're already, like they put on, like, you know, you draft it, you put on the jersey.
They ain't go through the process.
Stuff to David Stern already, like, nah, bro. Like there's so many things that being booed off stage, somebody not liking your stuff. Like all of those elements. When I'm
not gonna say no names, but when you go see a lot of artists now, you see them live. It's just
because there's no artist development there. Right. Those elements are missing. That's part of artist development, going to showcases.
But that's part of developing your own artist. Like, you know what I mean? Like, used to go to EO Dub and watch Breeze Ever Flowing, body it, and just be in the mirror all week. Trying to figure out how to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shit's crazy.
You might get a bus driver with some rhymes that came through, but he worked all week so he could get on that stage and feel that way. And also, like Louis, oh my God. Happy birthday, Louis. Happy birthday. Shout out, Louis Faso. Happy birthday, my man. You know,
Word. So Some of you niggas need to go practice your performance, man. Y'all niggas can't dance like Louis.
Louis.
I ain't gonna front. I came back to New York. I was trying to do that show. I did that shit, man. Shit look crazy out here.
Rest in peace, Dot. Right?
Rest in peace, Dot. Rest in peace, Pop Smoke.
Yeah, that you know what I'm saying? And it's like that's our culture. I'm from the Bronx. So we always was like, oh, y'all doing that? We're gonna do this. And it's always, that's what we saw. So in EO Dub, in a special place like that, we had a thing called the challenge, the MC challenge.
Yeah.
And not too long ago, Lupe Fiasco was like, well, in order for you to really prove yourself as the best rapper ever, you would have to kind of go through EO Dub and go through that challenge, because we made a challenge just for MCs in all the statistical categories. And I think it's gonna turn back around. I think when you look at basketball now, people are appreciating that LeBron is on the assist list and that you can do more than just that.
Right.
I think, people are starting to really really feel that way.
Right.
It's the interviews, it's the stage presence, it's the bars, even the way, Griselda reminds me of Terror Squad, in the days of Terror Squad, because there would be a lot of us on stage. A lot. And then every time, it wasn't just Pun that needed ad-libs or something like that. It was all of us, Joe, well, not all of us, but Joe, Cuban, when somebody's rhymes went and your crew's lines went and y'all just,
it hit harder.
Man,
if you never heard this song before, you kind of it made you like this song.
You hear it in 3D. Shout out to Split Star.
Oh, Split.
You know what I'm saying? You and I had a conversation about Flavor Flav and his how precision, what he did. You can't do that.
Right.
You can't do that for 2 hours up there with Chuck D, catching Chuck D's lyrics and out of here. That takes craft and it takes a certain amount of skill. And I think people like that. I think, overall.
Now you grew up with Pun.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And he just took a liking to me, just loved me, and then I did what you do to your nephews and your cousins, and you have them clean up, and I was like that. I just ran to the store for him. There was a while where I lived in his attic, and so just went with him to the studio, went with him to the music videos. Sometimes I had to watch the kids. You know what I'm saying? Well, not watch the kids, but just if it was in that room or whatever. But
throughout the years, you feel like people do enough to kind of keep his legacy alive? Because they mentioned, Biggie, Tupac, and not too many people mention Pun. But while Pun was out here, he was one of the top.
The nicest ever.
I am the nicest ever.
Nicest ever. Hardcore, commercial, and he showed you. You want to dance? You want to wild out? And he was showing you that, even though you had the Dead in the Middle of Little Italy and people love that, or a person like Math would be like, hey, yo, I shattered dreams like Jordan and Salt and Batter your team, and I torque your fragile ass with the force of an avalanche. He was doing that. His second single, he understood the craft of music so much that he was like, you can catch me in the cherry red one.
Like his voice up, slowed the flow down.
Got the grit, and still gave you. Pop the Clizzy doing 60 down the one whistle. What are you talking about, bro?
Right.
Drunk Pissy. Bro, get him out of here, bro.
Right.
Yo, Pun was a cartoon wrapped in brown skin. Yo, I'm telling you, yo. Yo, he would do things that, I really feel like the world needs to hear.
But how did he get like that?
Nice.
What was his training?
The Bronx, South Boogie, and
he used to battle, right?
Well, I wouldn't say
but
that.
He's not a rapper.
Nah, he's not a rapper.
He's not a rapper.
Pun's not a rapper.
Yeah.
Slap the shit out.
This hot trapper turn smack rapper. Only smack rapper that you know is smack rappers. Got bars I can hang with the backpackers. Trap star, I don't hang with the backpackers. I'm in the hood with the work you heard. Making fiends leave earth you heard. Got your baby mama thirst you heard. Feel the flow, nigga, throw it in reverse. This the wave you need to surf you heard.